minutes, 57 minutes. We're live.
Yo,
We're live.
subhanallah.
We are live.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. Rahmanir rahim. Maliki yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim. Ghayril maghdubi alaihim waladdallin. Ameen. Woo, here we go.
All right.
Slum Prophecy.
Peter Gonzalez version, right?
Slum Prophecy in the building.
That's right.
My man, producer extraordinaire. You know what I'm saying? An MC extraordinaire, Chizabam, and my man, Dr. Ware.
Beware.
They say they like the new version. Who y'all say I like? The new version of Outkast and who?
And
Tribe.
I mean, look,
and UGK.
Here's the thing. You can say whatever you want to say. I'm gonna say it like this. I'm gonna say that there's no precedent for what we're doing, because when did you ever hear of like a PhD in African history and Islamic studies? You know, going back to beat producing. You know, master in the science of beat production in under a year. Pairing up with like an MC that has essentially unlimited range in terms of, you know, delivery, in terms of styles, in terms of what he can tap into. And then I'm tapping into like, you know, the lyricism of having like translated Sheikh Ahmadou Bamba's poetry from Arabic into English and making it rhyme. And basically what we're trying to do is we're trying to put like the real genuine message of Islam, which is about spirituality, justice, and speaking the truth. The ayah is never did we send a messenger except in the language of the people. So we just trying to put that timeless truth in the language of the people. And if you've seen somebody else that did that, then call them the precedent. But for me, like the precedent for what we're doing is like what Nana Asma'u did in northern Nigeria when she made the sacred word and put it in Fula and Tamashek and Hausa so that everybody could get to it. Like those are the only precedents for what we're doing is like, you know, Musa Ka, you know, the precedents for what we're doing, you know, is like Malcolm, is like Nana Asma'u, but I don't see no MCs or musicians that are precedents for what we're doing. I don't know how you.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I've been an Ak and a Muslim my whole life. You know what I'm saying? I've been a Muslim rapper forever, so I don't know. I'm not Muslim rap. I've been a rapper that's Muslim. Let's say that. I don't believe in Muslim rap. Off top, I'm telling you, I don't like it. So, I despise it. It ain't good to me. I mean, like, man, I was riding with my nephew. He a dope artist, and I listened to some of my old stuff, and we was comparing stuff, and I'm just like, yeah, you got to put that work in. But it ain't about me right now. So, Chizabam, you. Alhamdulillah. Matter of fact, let's introduce ourselves before we
introduce the people.
I like how the shake came right in. That was gangster.
I know he came in.
My brother Jermaine Carey got Dr. Halim.
Yeah, your neighborhood friendly good doc. Don't wear the name out, Dr. Halim Naim. And then
you got your boy. You know what I'm saying? Got my man Beware. He ain't Dr. Ware when he.
Oh no, he ain't Dr. Ware today. This is Beware.
Nice, the nice one behind the boards and the mic. You know what I'm saying? And got my man. And I'm gonna introduce him, man, because I want him to know. When I told Dr. Ware, because we was on the low, and I was like going through, and we was like helping each other, and I was, you know what I'm saying, like give him some feedback on something, and I said, I already know how I feel about like Muslim music. I don't like it at all. So I heard this cat, like I said, damn, you know what I'm saying? I was like, this dude is a superstar. You know what I'm saying? And I know I trust my ear. I said, and he ain't doing the corny stuff. He's not trying to rhyme Dean whistle out the Mustaqim or every other line. You know what I'm saying? Like he really out here like he can rap. And I told like, look, like, man, just rap. The Dean gonna come out whatever you do.
Exactly. That's part of who you are.
You know what I'm saying? Just rap. And my man is a talent, man. So I'm gonna do a reason bio, but I'm gonna let him introduce himself to the people. His name is Chizabam, born and raised in Atlanta, Georgia. He has been writing and producing music since he was 11 years old. He knew his passion early on and has excelled at it ever since. From his soulful singing to his lyrical flows, Chiz's versatility make him a rare talent His production credits and collaborations include various independent artists and major label artists. In 2010, he was featured on Hip Hop Legend: The Game's Who Got Game Volume 3, debuting his acclaimed single Playback. Alhamdulillah, I didn't get all the rest of it, but that's enough. So Shizla, can you introduce yourself to the people, for those who are watching it and gonna be watching it and don't know who you are?
You gotta unmute.
Okay, you gotta unmute yourself.
You gotta unmute.
Oh, my bad. Assalamu alaikum. My name is Chizabam. I hail from Atlanta, Georgia, where I actually am right now, traveling. I've been based in Dallas, Texas for the last 10 years. You can see the T right here, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, man, I've been, like I said, you know, the bio said, I've been making music, you know, writing and producing, engineering, everything, you know, since I was like 11 years old. And, you know, I just, you know, really believe in substance, you know, really believe in and providing substance, you know, as y'all were just saying about like Muslim rap, you know, and all of that. It's just like, to me, it's just Islam is like a consciousness, you know what I'm saying? It's a certain level of consciousness, and you don't have to, you know, like Beware was just saying, if you know, you deliver the message, you deliver sacred message in the tongue of the people, you know, it doesn't have to be this like forced on people's minds, you know what I mean? So like, that's just what I've been on, you know what I'm saying? And to link with Beware and for him to bring his portion, you know, from the production to the vision and the knowledge to support the mission, I think is just a divine collaboration and a divine unification.
Beware. We ain't gonna let you introduce you as Dr. Bilal Rudolph Butch Ware the third.
That's fine. That's fine by me. I mean, I was Beware before I was any of those things.
I love it.
Mm-hmm.
I want to introduce Beware to the people. I'm gonna tell you that, honey, you can introduce him also, but I want y'all to know, man, like me and Dr. Ware, we on 3 different time zones, right? Yeah. In the middle of the night, you know what I'm saying? And for some reason, maybe because I'm crazy, I'm up. You know what I'm saying? So he'll text me, you feel me? And I'll sit there, I give him some real feedback, you know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't it. No, you know what I'm saying?
I'll be blunt about it. Like Jermaine was ruthless. Okay, so I'm gonna tell. So I'll do the introduction, but we got to tell some stories, because actually some of the tracks that are on the album, like there's backstories, like to those, like feedback that you were giving me, you know, as things were coming. So I'll just say first, just to introduce the you know, to introduce Beware. I'll put it like this. So I was an MC before I was ever a historian. I was an MC, you know, before I was a scholar. I was an MC before I was a graduate student. And Beware was on the back of all of my baseball jerseys, football jerseys, basketball jerseys from the time I was 8 or 9 years old. And so like that was my MC persona. That was my stage name. I put together my first demo tape that had, you know, 8 tracks on it when I was 19 years old. I didn't do beat production at that time, but I had, you know, mountains and mountains of notebooks, would do, you know, like house parties, live performances, different kinds of, you know, venues, all times. When I first went to Senegal for the first time, I rapped live in downtown Dakar. I rapped live in Saint Louis. Like that was, you know, I grew up with hip hop music. It was the first thing that, like, you know, kind of allowed me to like express like basic truths about who I was as a human being. And I basically, you know, knew 2 real truths coming up, you know, and one was in the music, you know, and then the other was in the deen after I came to Islam when I was 15. So for me, there was never kind of any contradiction between those. It was like just expressing truths about, you know, the reality of the life around me and the world that I lived in. And, you know, that came out a little bit in the music back then. It didn't come out that much because I was wild, you know, at that age. I mean, I was genuinely crazy. People that know me now would have a very, very difficult time with the me from that era. And people that knew me from that era would never have predicted, this kind of outcome. So the way that my MC career as Beware ended was actually I got in an argument with my studio engineer at the time, working through some issues with the demo, and he drew a gun on me. And I just decided at that point in time, that I wasn't trying to die over the music. And I was on, baseball scholarship in school. And I just decided to focus on, on books and trying to get through college. And I put the music away for a while. But when we started talking about, hip hop and spirituality with you and with Akil, the MC, and with Sister Mumu Fresh, did IG Live with Tone Trump, had this conversation about what the music meant to us at different stages of our, spiritual journey. And it's true. I also don't listen to the Muslim hip hop. Like, I can't listen to preachy and corny. I can't. But basically, like, this vision kind of got implanted in my heart, which was, why can't we do, Wu-Tang for Sufis? Why can't we embed the message in the coldest music that we can make and just leave a trail of breadcrumbs for people to follow back to the divine essence, instead of talking about who we are and what our identity is as Muslims? Like, actually make the values that are present in what we're trying to live, like, expressed through the music, but to speak to, like, the truth that we're all dealing with. Because, like, look, my father, he killed himself through alcohol and drug abuse. I never lived at the same street address for a consecutive calendar year until I was 13 years old. I lived in DC when it was the murder capital of the world, over 600 murders a year in a city that had 600,000 people in it. And the thing is, if the music that we make can't speak to the 18 or 19-year-old version of me that's out there, dealing with real life in these streets, then what is for? How is supposed to reach, people in the darkness? I want our music to do for this next generation what Malcolm's autobiography did for me.
So I'm a come at it an angle from doctor to doctor. When you are you put music away, and you're deeply enmeshed into looking at things a certain way as a historian. Articles are structured a certain way. People teach things a certain way. People think about things a certain way. There's methodologies, there's theories, there's theologies, all that stuff. Was it ever in your reconnection to coming back to who you are? Was there a gap? Was there something you had to reconcile to translate it? Maybe not necessarily to your experience, but to something that I mean, the 19-year-old now ain't the 19-year-old 40 years ago.
Not remotely.
20 years ago. You know what I'm saying? Remotely. So is there a gap you're finding? Is it how do you
so I'm gonna bring Bam in on this, just because, like, I feel like that's one of the things, like, he called it a divine collaboration, and I would certainly agree. Like, there's things that have come together in this that make it clear that, like, it's coming with Tawfiq, inshallah. But one of the things that I'll say is that, like, having, like, his ear and his sensibility as the music was developing, and have him be such, like, a gifted, not just MC. I mean, because what Jermaine said is accurate. He's just an unusually gifted vocal talent and lyricist, like, period, full stop. When you get into the album, you'll hear it. And when you get into volume 2 and the stuff that we got coming after it, like, you'll just understand that, like, like, Stevie Wonder could have seen that, like, you got to get with this nigga and roll with him because he can go, like that's just, like,
real talk.
Stevie Wonder.
But beyond that, what I'll say is like, it was his, like, so his demeanor and, like, sensibility as a believing person. Like, Bam is a scholar. Like he spent, like he went on mission with the Tabligis when he first came into Islam. Like I've never seen anybody more voracious in like studying Islamic ethics and spirituality. So he may not know this, but like I felt like he was teaching me how to make the music and the delivery and the lyrical content connect with, you know, his generation and younger. So like a lot of times I would send something and he'd be like, well, let me mess with the low end on this part. You know,
Exactly.
or he would like respond, like I was like, I'm playing with this, you know, this beat, and he would be like, you know, the segment from the 15-second mark to the 45-second mark, that's the sweet spot in this one. Like, you know, pull on this sound. So a lot of the sound I felt like, and if you listen to the production on the album, I mean, I think, you know, Bam produced two. I couldn't claim producer credit for Tomb. Like that's really, like I sent the elements, but that's your beat, Bam. But I produced most of the rest of them. But really, they're collaborative beat productions, like between the musical sensibilities of the both of us. So that was a big learning curve for me, and I felt like he was my sheikh, he was my teacher, you know, and guide in those things for sure. Yeah, without question. Bam, I don't know how you would you know reflect on that.
Hey, I appreciate that, man. By the way, you know, that's major. Um, I mean, yeah, you know, like I just, the reason why I call it a divine collaboration, or like, you know, the whole idea of, you know, divine assistance with Tawfiq is because, you know, the vision and the scope, and I mean, you were already, your ear is, from what I would say, unmatched from people I've known. You know what I mean? Like you will send vibes over. You were sending vibes over still to this day that were melodically and structurally on a different level. In terms of, you know, in terms of like lower frequencies, snares, and you know what I mean, like claps and certain things, those, you know, just coming up from where I'm from right now, you know what I mean, like where I am right now, and coming up in the midst of that era, you know, the trap era, and that becoming predominant, and me adding my flavor in there, I think that just took things to a certain level, you know. So I mean, like, you were already bringing bangers. It was just certain things, and just my personal ear matching with yours. I think that's just something special, unparalleled or unmatched.
What was I guess the, you know, thing I'll get into is like, what was the feedback? What was the gap? What did you feel have to be? What feedback were you consistently getting? That was it a time thing? Was it a culture thing? Was it a you know, and you know, we got different cultures in our community. You know, things like that. Was it technical? What were some of the things or gaps you were starting to get that you feel you had the most growth, and now you guys collabing and
So
starting to synchronize.
So I'll bring your question in actually to also bring Jermaine back in, and Bam, we can bring this all in together, because your question, the best way for me to start to answer it is to actually talk about the first thing that we worked on. So I sent this beat that didn't have a name at that particular point in time. It ultimately became Whips and Chains, which you guys haven't seen. That's actually for our third release, because we released the first 9 tracks on Slum Prophecy Volume 1. We got at least 20 that are already finished and recorded that just haven't been mixed and mastered. And then we've got another like 15 or 20 after that that are like partially finished. So we have like literally like multiple releases still, in the chamber, you know, ready to go. But the first one was this track that'll probably appear on our third release called Whips and Chains. So I sent this, you know, beat, and like the musical elements, as Bam said, you know, were there. He, messed with the low end and kind of really added that, like Atlanta trap ear to the bottom end. And I'll say this: my father, I mentioned, in the past that he struggled with, drug addiction, alcoholism. What I may not have mentioned in past conversations is that he was the most gifted musician I ever knew. He could play any instrument that you gave him. If he had never seen it before, you gave him 30 minutes alone with it, he could make whatever sound he wanted. And he was known for that. He was playing live clubs in DC when he was 12, 13 years old, playing bass and drums and piano. And he taught me the drums. Like I still don't know the feet part well on drums, because when he was teaching me drums, I was too small to reach the kick, because I'd be on his knee so I could, get the snares and the hi-hats and all that. But like my timing with the kick wasn't great because I couldn't reach the pedals. So I feel like I picked up the ear from him, and so the music was coming with a certain ear to it. Like and that's also the reason why like learning Wolof in Senegal was easy for me. Learning French was easy for me because it's just a matter of hearing a sound and being able to reproduce it. So if you have a sound that you hear inside yourself, then it's just nowadays you just use a computer to bring it out. Like it's not that hard compared to what it used to be like. You know what I'm saying? Like back in the day. So I sent him this sound, and he changes the low end to really bring out what was already there. And then he sent it back with this melodic hook and this insane vocal, like just he destroyed this track. And I sent it to Jermaine, and Jermaine was like, this is how ruthless Jermaine was. When Jermaine heard my bars for it, he was like, you need to like either, step your game up or just let him go dolo. That's what he said. he said because you can't. He said because the way he's coming in on that track, like you can't be holding this track back, like with what he's doing to this track. So like, and the thing is, like, I don't know if Jermaine really hated my flow that much, or if Jermaine just understands that if anybody give me a challenge, then I'm gonna like, I'm gonna prove them wrong, because that's what I've been doing my whole life. Like you're not supposed to have a sixth grade, my father had a sixth grade education. I'm supposed to get a PhD. That's not how it's supposed to go. Yeah, so you tell me I can't do it, I'm gonna do it. Just because. So then like I felt like my game had to step up, and I started to really study what he was doing musically. Study what Bam was doing from a delivery standpoint, and it really pulled the best out of me now as an MC. So I was going back to my kind of writing and things that I learned about writing, but really like he retaught me the MC game and the delivery game.
Yeah, I want to say like,
man. I appreciate it.
Yeah. And I want to like chime in like again, like I was getting the skeletons, right? So I think even before y'all even met, Chiz, like, you know what I'm saying? And so, and I take it from a standpoint, like, again, I had artists under me. I had people, artists develop. I was doing all that. You know what I'm saying? So, and we was riding with my nephew. Like I told you, we was listening to some of my old, like, what we doing, what y'all doing to this world. You know what I'm saying? But quality is everything. Like the subject matter can be one thing, but if the quality ain't hitting, you know what I'm saying? I can listen to from Most Def and listen to the Gucci and write on the same playlist. I do that all the time. You know what I'm saying? It's the quality in the hearing, and I was telling you, it's the importance of you putting out product and you sincerely are convicted in your product. Why not put out the best product you possibly can? You know what I'm saying? And so that's what I was dealing with. And I know, and even I'm keeping a whole buck. When you're dealing with like yourself with the Shawuka, you're dealing with certain people. A lot of people in these circles don't like to give real talk to these like people like Dr. Ware, certain people. I would never in my life be like that. So I'm not gonna lie to you. You know what I'm saying? I just say that I'm not gonna be no shake groupie and none of that stuff either.
And let me walk outside with spinach in my teeth.
Right.
Tell me it's spinach in my teeth.
And so when I heard Shiz, I was like, okay, this is who you need to work with. I told him, I said, this is who you need to work with. And if you serious, let him lead the way. I said that. You know, did I not say that? I said, let him lead.
You said exactly that, and we had made, by the time we had that particular conversation, I feel like we were about 4 or 5 tracks into recording, and Bam, you might remember this. I was listening. It was actually when we did The Last Dragon, which is also
that project. How
we released.
That's great.
That's the first album, like the introduction to what y'all got going on. But this second album, all right, because I know the songs that's missing. You feel me? So bad. I know the songs that's missing. I know the songs that's missing. So everybody just froze up. So cheers.
That freeze up?
What's up, man?
Yeah,
he rolls up.
I want to ask Chiz a question though.
Yeah, go
and
for
then
it.
Dr. Roy, you can jump on it. Chiz, again, it's a big difference from working with just regular local artists with a local mentality, and being an artist, a diverse artist that know for a fact you bigger than your area, right, or your neighborhood. And I can hear that in you. And I know Atlanta dope. You know what I'm saying? Like, to me personally, right now, Atlanta winning. Atlanta been winning for 15 years. You know what I'm saying? So for real. Alhamdulillah. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a lot of people, like a lot of oxygen though. So I want to know, like, being from Atlanta, being in the midst of like the belly of the beast when it comes down to the trap. And people think the trap ain't about using it. The trap music is really about hustling. That's what it is, about a hustler mentality. It's a hustler's game. It's hustler's music. So you being from there, you influenced by that. How did you find a way to infuse that and also add a certain level of content to your delivery and your bars and your music without being a cornball?
I got you. Yeah. The cornball. Man, you know, even although I grew up, you know, in Atlanta in certain area, you know, the onset coming in, like the Young Jeezy and Gucci and T.I. and everything. Man, I grew up also listening to, you know, everybody from like, you know, Ludacris to Jay-Z, 50 Cent, you know, Nas, Tech Nine from, you know, Kansas City.
Talk about it, yes.
A lot. Yeah, man, I'm telling you, like, people who just had, you know, certain types of, like, just music in general. You know what I'm saying? So it was never just Atlanta. Like, we was listening to everything that we could find, and from that, I mean, it got to a point where with me, man, I had put music down for a while, and you know, after I graduated high school, my mother had passed away, and she was, rest her soul, she was a major influence on me musically. I mean, she could. In her high school, she was the drum majorette of her high school all 4 years, like since the 9th grade. Like, she led her, you know, like the whole high school every year. And it's funny, man. I recently just came from my aunt's funeral, my mom's oldest sister, and there was a lady there who told me that my mom, I had never met this lady. Of course, my mom's from like the city next to Natchez, Mississippi, city in Louisiana called Vidalia, Louisiana. It's like as soon as you cross that bridge, it's right there. So that's where my whole family's from, like the Natchez and Vidalia. So this lady came from Vidalia. She said, she told me, she said, hey, your mom, like, 'cause my aunt told her, that's Pat's son. My mom's name's Pat. That's Pat's son right there. And I actually had performed a couple songs that I made for my aunt, because one of my aunts asked me to make a song for the going away. So she's like, this lady walks up to me, I don't know, it's an older lady, and she's like, hey baby, you know, you know that's Southern. Hey baby, you know, I enjoyed your performance and everything. And she said, you know, your mom actually taught me how to play the flute. Ooh. In the ninth grade, and when she said she used to go over to my mother's house, their home, you know, my grandparents' home, every day after school, and my mom taught her how to play the flute, and then she had joined the band and all of that stuff. So I come from a very, like, you know, my mom, she was a certain type of person, and she was very influential and like, and just always motivated me and standing behind me and my older brother, from a lyrical standpoint. She could sing anything, you know what I'm saying? Like, and she could just lighten up a room. Like you'll be walking, you'll walk in the house, you hear your mom singing. It's like, dang, it's crazy, man. And just so to circle back around to your question, man. I never liked. I always liked certain gospel songs.
Yes.
That are like that don't force creed on you.
Yes.
Like it's not forcing creed. Like Martin Sapp had a song called "Never Would Have Made It." Right? He's not forcing his creed on you in that song. He got one called "He Saw the Best in Me when everyone around me saw the worst." That stuff like that.
Some
like
Mary joint.
Cooling Water. That's song about cooling water back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I, people don't like gospel music for certain reasons. Like I like certain types of gospel music that's not forcing the creed on you. So from that standpoint, if you listen to my catalog, from that standpoint, you might catch a Muhammad reference, or you might catch me saying something about Ramadan every now and then, but it's not going to be me trying to force my religion on you. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't think it's
counterproductive to
me. I didn't grow
me.
up like that.
Yeah.
It's counterproductive. You know what I mean? So I just don't think that's the way, man. All the greats, like, if you look at like a Mos Def or
Ice Cube,
people who and you look at like who are Muslim, like, oh snap, like they had knowledge and they were able to push, they were able, their deen spoke through and translated through their actions and their music. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's the better way to do it than to just push your identity on other people.
Can I jump in like just with a small point on that particular aspect? Like, because I was thinking about this, is like it's the difference between rapping about Islam and rapping through it. Do you know what I mean? Like it's if it's a part of you, and how you approach the world and how you live, then it's just like a sensibility that's instilled in you, and it come out through the music in subtle ways. Whereas what a lot passes for the Muslim rap is really just rapping about Islam. And to be honest, like it's the distinction between how I saw Islam practiced in North America and how I saw it lived when I went to Senegal. It was the difference between like a performance of the deen that's about like public perception from the outside,
lack of soul.
Exactly, and as something that come out from the inside, and as part of how you engage in the world. And I just want to say one other thing before I let y'all get back to the questions part. When I felt like when the gospel reference was really crucial, not forcing the creed on people, like it's a really critical distinction. But it also like it takes me into what I felt like is most distinctive about volume 1 of Slum Prophecy, as opposed to the stuff that's coming in volume 2, and then the Whips and Chains EP, and then the Cali release, all of the stuff that we got coming up. And I felt like it was crucial that this come out in that first project, because really what holds volume 1 together is it's all soul music. Like it's all soul music in one way or another, whether it's more trap sound like on Tomb, whether it's kind of fusion between like trap and boom bap elements, whether even like the Latin flavor on Sabor, like it's all soul music. Like that's what holds that volume 1 together, at least for me.
Well, let me we got to get a message from our sponsors. Yeah, we got a message from our sponsors, and then we're gonna jump right back into it. I'm to our audience out there. We only got a week. They on a tight schedule, so we can't really dive into what we want to. And I'm sad about it. I didn't even know it was only an hour, but I found out today. So we gonna have to jump back again, man. Dr. Ware gonna keep coming. Matter of fact, you like a what do you call that?
He's the all-time record now. He's on his third one.
You a friend of the show. They call it a friend of the show. That means you already got your spot. About a message from our sponsors, Brown Digits. We got to
send it love in every shade of brown to you. Send it love in every shade of brown to you.
They say the first cutter be the one that sets the tone, to add pressure to a lesser known flesh and bone, to look different than the picture shown, and to be a rebel means you're not about to settle till you get your own. This one's for all my outside of the box thinkers, with bumblebee stingers and paper cut fingers and scrapes on their kneecaps. I know the pain lingers. The healthy way to heal a broken wing is to give it love.
Sending love in every shade of brown to you. Sending love in every shade of brown to you. Sending love in every shade of brown to you. Sending love in every shade of brown, shade of brown.
Yeah, the thing about community is how proud it is. We understand what well balanced and what grounded is. And love is the hinge that heals and mends, conceals and blends, and keeps us all covered. That's grounded shit. We say it's all black when it's all love, and it's brown when it's all good. Groundages, we help heal the hurt. So put us on. I said you gotta put us on.
Yes, that's my man Black Thought. Overly live, shouting out my homeboy, one of my best friends. We got back from Cleveland, man. Went down to Holiday Councilman Bashir Jones. Put some work in for him, man. My man Imam Rashid Maki and his wife, Bashir. Man, Brownies is blowing up. You say you can't put you can't put a Band-Aid on 100 years of racism. You know what I'm saying? It's focused by us. And may Allah preserve them, man. They blowing up everywhere, man. They got one of the goats, Black Thought, doing a promo for them. So shout out to Imam Rashid Maki and his wife for putting that beautiful thing together.
That was dope. But so I know I thought that was Tariq on it. But the two bars that came to mind though was one was from Most, the other was from Little Kim. The first was, yes, the first cut should be the deepest to penetrate beyond the muscles, walls, inner reaches. That's Most. And then the other one was we laying in the cut like a bandage. Come through Fulton Street in the Vanquish from Lighters Up by Lil Kim. So that's always my favorite bar, laying in the cut like a bandage. So alhamdulillah.
You know, we gotta shout out one more sponsor, man. Our sponsor, brother Sher Kirk and Design Pro Web Solutions. Again, they do all our logos and designs. And I try to hook y'all up. Hopefully, you'll get y'all together, man. But he top notch. Again, for us, by us, it's ours. And that brother, man, that's his business and it's booming. So please support Web Design Pro Web Solutions. Look them up on Instagram and Facebook and any social media platforms. And also make sure you look for the Brownages. And if you want to be a sponsor, you can email us at Good Vibes, Good Brothers @gmail.com. Like, look out, man. We got a big following, alhamdulillah, and your business is gonna be promoted the right way. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna put you out there. So I know you can jump in, man. But we got to be on the rapid fire, man. Sad we only got 20 minutes, man. Knowing me, I'm probably gonna push about a couple minutes past, but go ahead.
I mean, I can go a few minutes past, but I know so Bam, as he mentioned, is coming back from her funeral, so I just want to make sure that he can get back on the road with his family. That's all.
Is he muted?
Appreciate that.
We can't hear you, Ali.
Sorry about that. So we were just talking about rapping through Islam versus about it. Very, very shortly, I think that a lot of youth are running away from Islam because of the way that Islam is being performed and not embodied. I think that's in all cultures, black, white, Arab, Desi. They're running away from this performance industry. They're running away from these performance dinners. They're running away from these performance nonprofits. They're running away from kind of anything. So, and then when you run away from that, well, you also are running into something. So,
what you running into? Yep.
I think what they're running into is a lot deeper than the majority, let's say, of teenagers were going through with average. Again, with us 20, 25 years ago. It's been, things are much more normal. Things are much more accessible. Things are much more darker. things are much more emptier. And I was talking about my dad with my dad about this yesterday. I want to get both yours, Dr. Ware, and yours, Bam's impression. Islam, and we haven't talked a lot about this. We do need to have a show, and I really want to, get more of your thoughts. But Islam, inherently, when people were accepting it in the 60s and 70s and even early 80s, was inherently revolutionary. It inherently stood for something. Do you know what I'm saying? To be Muslim means you had a certain stance about life and putting things away and stepping away from stuff and backing off. And so that was a selling point. What is presented now, because of everything being all your needs and your desires being instantly gratified to you, there's no need for a revolution of anything to people 15, 16, 17 years old, because it's being pushed that you should get everything that you want. And so how do you what you're talking about messages, you've already got a number of songs coming out and things like that. There is an apathy about Islam that, I mean, people just don't give a damn. In certain age ranges, like we might be still thinking, Kaffir police and people talking and judging and all that, but that's assuming that you actually even care about
exactly.
So what do you say now? You're talking about youth, you're talking about people. What do you say now to people, whether Muslim running away from Islam or not? People who just don't give a crap about life outside of their own desires.
Man, so you asked the question, and this is beautiful, because this allows us to really get to the heart of the nature of the mission. Okay, I want to say one thing before I get to the heart of the nature of the mission, and that's about the cultural ground that we lost, which you alluded to. There was a moment where it was inherently revolutionary to if you didn't become Muslim, to at least flirt with Islam, right?
had a African or Arabic name. That was part of the game.
Exactly.
A whole bunch of Koreans and Malik Johnson.
And I'll be honest, I got to shout out our man, Akil DMC from Jurassic 5. We did the track Nostalgic with him. I feel like more than any individual person, he was the person that convinced me to actually do this instead of just talking about it. But because we have been having conversations for years about this very fact, is how did we allow ourselves to become so culturally irrelevant as Muslims in the Black community?
Black Muslims.
When we were the core of cultural relevance precisely because of that revolutionary content. And it wasn't just about political revolutionary content. It was about a revolution in manliness, a revolution in womanliness, a revolution in artistic production, the jazz artists, the hip hop artists in the 80s. And here's the issue.
Funk artists.
And he asked me, he said, how do we allow ourselves to get overtaken in this way and to make ourselves culturally irrelevant? I said, it's because we decided that when people brought these imported models of how a Muslim's supposed to look, we decided to copy them. And Imam Fode Drame said, anytime somebody tells you to put down your own culture, it's because they want you to let go of it so that they can pick it up.
They can pick it up. And now look at their kids.
They can pick it up. So being a Muslim went from being inherently revolutionary to now, with this fake suburban piety and this performed religion, it went to becoming inherently reactionary, as opposed to inherently revolutionary.
Whoa, say that one more time.
It's no longer inherently revolutionary. It's inherently reactionary.
Reactionary.
Yes, it's the lodging place for the Black person who hates themselves and wants to be Arab.
Yes,
it's the lodging place for the misogynist who wants to hide behind the
sellout central
God, alayhi afdal salatu wassalam, to justify his crimes against himself and his womenfolk. It's the place where all of the people that don't want us to move forward now are hiding. So that's one. Now, as for the mission, the remedy, and this also, I'll quote Imam Fode Drame. He said that all of the messengers, peace be upon them all, were sent with the antidote to whatever was being used to poison the people in their time. So they were sent with, in the case of the Prophet alayhi salatu wasalam, it was the poetry of the Arabs. It was the only art that they had. It was the most important art that they had, but it was also where their values of jahiliyyah were embedded, their notions of masculine honor, so that they would sing these songs to one another and then go out and cut each other to ribbons over honor. They would bury their daughters because they thought that they were worse than sons because of what was contained in the poetry, in the culture. So God sent a word that swallowed their lies, the same way that the staff that Moses threw swallowed the lies of the magicians. Because in Pharaoh's time, he was convincing the people that he was a god through prestidigitation, through sleight of hand, deceiving the eyes with magic. So God came with magic that swallowed the lies. What is being used to poison our people in our time is the culture. Our culture has been weaponized against us to keep us pregnant, in jail, carrying guns, not giving a damn about anything, only focused on hedonistic self-satisfaction and self-gratification. But if you come out preaching against those things, you accomplish precisely nothing. You have to throw better magic. The sound has to be dope. The lyrics have to hit harder. It has to be truer. And with God's assistance, it will happen. But it can't just be Ware and Chizabam with Slum Prophecy. It has to be all of us, bringing that collective effort to transform the culture, because the culture is the thing that's being used to enslave us now.
But can you make something? Or can we make something? Because you just said hedonistic. Can we make the happiness happier? Can we come with a happier happiness than what is being presented?
I'm gonna let Bam weigh in, because I know I hit with the Jalal dimension, and he tends to usually bring more to Jamali side to things. So I'm gonna let him respond to the first part of the question and to your the second follow up.
I want to add to that question too, because I want to hear, because Bam, you a little bit younger than us, right? You said in your 20s,
29.
Right? So yeah, so you a little bit younger than us, but you got an old so I can hear it, right? So you seen some stuff, and adding that, you are like, I know I'm a born and raised Muslim, but I've been out off the porch a very long time, so a lot of stuff is engraved in what I've seen and survived, right? So and add to the question, I'm added to Halim's question, right? And I'm added to what Dr. Ware said. We gotta keep it. It's a lot of like Black Sunni Islam is like a haven for being a sellout nigga. I'm gonna keep it a whole buck.
Thank you.
It's a haven for being a sellout nigga.
Every year. Oh my God! Thank you.
And I'm gonna keep it a buck before we get into that. And I want you to touch in it, because I'm gonna keep it real, man. I was kicking out. I just took some youngins out of town to help out with the check, and we was listening to our music. I'm not like I said, I'm not into a person that's into telling somebody not how to do their art, right? But at the same time, it do need a certain type of balance. Like, it's a sincerity. Even you talking about street stuff, it's a sincerity in trying to get out. We used to talk about trying to get out. That was the means was trying to get out. Even if we had to talk about whatever, you know what I'm saying? And then 25, 26, 22, you an ignorant fool anyway. You gonna talk about ignorant shit, stuff a lot. You know what I'm saying? So that happens. But at the same time, like, again, as the maturity grows in, and then as you being a convert Muslim, right? Like, I'm born and raised, again, our views is different. We know I've been off the porch. You being a convert Muslim, and what you seen, and I know it because I go through it all the time, every other month. I'm like, man, forget these Sunni niggas. I can't stand this Muslim stuff. Black ones, because it's like it's a haven for sellouts, right? Or don't like your women, don't marry your women. You gotta walk around with a jalabeel to feel like you're extra much. That's what you do to feel like make you feel good. Alhamdulillah. I'm from the east side of Detroit. You feel me? So as you being a convert, I want to hear about the pressures that you had as a convert, added on to the dialogue that Dr. Ware was speaking on, and what the question that Halim spit on. Sent y'all.
Okay. That's a loaded question, but I'm gonna approach it the best way and answer the best way I can. When I first took Shahada, man, I was 18 years old, and alhamdulillah, and I was influenced by more so the online Salafi community. It wasn't. I know that one of the brothers. He was one of the brothers. My close friend, man. Pakistani brother. He took from. You know, you got different types of Salafis, right? So he didn't call. He's one of them guys who didn't call himself Salafi, but he took from that, and you know, he had an influence on me, but more so the online Salafis, because I took Shahada in Atlanta, and the people who I lived by, you know, when you get into that Salafi mentality, man, you know, everything becomes, and I think me and Dr. Ware were talking about this. I believe it was us, but basically it's like, and I was also talking to my wife about this too. So like a lot of things, like with the Salafis, how I understand Deen now, and when I started to sort of try to embody things more, a lot like more things are halal than are haram.
All the time, easy.
Right? Like something is gonna be considered halal, then you know you have to find a reason why something is haram. Like it has to be evidence and textual why that's haram. The Salafis, to me, at least, the ones that are a bit more, I guess, extreme, or are the type of people to where it's something is haram before it's halal. That's how I think about them, which I think is the opposite of the traditional Islamic understanding.
Like one-on-one.
Serious, yeah.
You know, so when I first took Shahada, man, I honestly, at a point, man, I stopped making music for like I told you, I moved out like to Texas and everything, and you know, I was kind of like in a certain mindset. I wasn't necessarily wanted like it, Salafi, but I was thinking, you know, I was following a certain methodology as far as hey, that's haram. Hey, that's haram. It was more of a, I look at it more of a like a judgmental type of thing, honestly, where it's like we are the people on truth, everybody else is on falsehood. And I think that breeds more arrogance than anything else. And so you gotta imagine, man, this is something that, you know, I have been in you know, band and all this other things. This is what I grew up doing. And for me to accept the religion and then the people, it's not even the religion, not in my understanding now, but the people who I was influenced by, these people were telling me basically that everything I come from, and even my father, I'm from Nigeria, the Chizabam, that's a Nigerian name. And he actually had like a KG. He used to drive. He was like a chauffeur, had his own limousine company and everything like that. And he used to like always keep the whip fresh. And you would get jumping the whip. He always had on some like Kenny G playing, some fresh, some smooth jazz, some orchestra type of stuff, some symphony stuff. So I come from that too. You know, and for me to basically, and they had a bunch of records in the crib, you know, from my mom and my dad. That mixture was crazy. He had nature sounds. Like sometimes we would go to sleep, we was listening to, like, he had CDs, a bunch of nature CDs, listening to like water playing, like the frogs and stuff, this cool stuff, you know, like audio. But for me to take, you know, Shahada, and people would be saying that like everything I knew was haram or forbidden. It takes something from that energy goes to, it's like such your energy out, that energy that you were putting into what you love to do. It's like, don't get me wrong, like I focused a lot of it on like learning knowledge and stuff, alhamdulillah, you know what I mean? But like it pulls, it kind of pulls the soul out of you. Yep. To whereas you could have been embracing your people, you begin to morph into this mindset to where you're judging your people, and that's all you want to do. And oh man, why he got his ankle, his pants ain't behind, but under his ankles. Oh man, this dude said Allah is everywhere. You trying to judge, like you got these like preconceived notions. Oh, these are the 7 conditions of Shahada. If you don't got these, it ain't. It's like, man, life is much more beautiful than that.
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Life is much more merciful than that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Life is more, God is much more compassionate than that. And if and to touch on this as well, I think a lot of the youth who I've been around, man, I there was a youth who his dad used to be at the masjid all the time, like a Daisy. I used to go to like a lot of different Daisy masjid, especially in the DW area. This youth, his dad like be with the Jamaat and everything. I used to go to the Tabligh Jamaat and stuff like that too. His dad would be with them and everything, but you know, now this specific youth, I see, and my cousin just showed me this the other day. You know, I see him on the video and everything talking about pouring up lean, and he rap now, and you know he's Daisy, he's like maybe Pakistani Indian, talking about like all this, you know, the main stuff that people in the culture, as we're talking about, it's a lot darker and everything. Talk about. He's talking about that. Why? It's because that's what's acceptable. It's cool, and you know, I think a lot of to touch basis on to try to collaborate, like to try to merge what I was just your question, Jermaine, with the other question. I think there's a problem with the embodiment of Islam.
Embodiment, thank you.
The embodiment, like, you know, the walking Quran is actually gifted to me. I had started searching, man, like I knew that, look, man, this deen spread far and wide. I know that this is me being de-Salafied, I guess. Like, I know that there are scholars in Nigeria. I got in West Africa, I got like friends who are from there, who we always having conversations, and they're telling me that their perspectives of Islam is just like way different than what you will learn from an online people trying to like everything is haram. You know what I mean? Like they'll tell you that like they've lived it. This is what Beware was saying. Like they've lived it, and so I think there's a problem, honestly, with people who come here from overseas, first generation, and even like you said, talking about the Black Muslims too. Here, I think there's a problem with embodying deen and culture and keeping them together and making it make sense to the mind of the youth. The youth thinks that he has to either accept
one or the other.
New hip hop culture, stip lean, hit all the broads, light up all the time, you know, be lit all the time on some drugs. He thinks he has to accept that or pull up with a stick and let it hit. He thinks he has to accept that or his religion, which is just solely like constricting. He feels that religion to him is just constricting.
Yes,
and it's just he's suffocating.
Yep.
He's suffocating, and all religion is to him is them old Daisy dudes at the masjid, them old black dudes at the masjid who just sit in the masjid. That's all they do. All they want to do is pray and touch people. They don't have examples. I feel they don't have examples of people who can embody all of that. They're thinking it's either New Age culture or religion, which to them seems constrictive and old and lame. That's not the only option you have.
Big facts.
You know, and that's facts. And that's my, you know, that's my answer.
Well, we had the hour, man. So I know Malik, our producer, trying to close us out. So I mean, we want to. It's hard to close like this. It's extremely hard. Like it's impossible. So, yeah, you know what I'm saying. So the thing
I have a little bit more time if y'all. I mean, we can keep going. We can keep going if y'all want. you know,
I
we cool for now. I mean,
I say keep going. I say keep going. People
Let's go
Yeah.
for 1 hour and 11 minutes. That give us 10 more minutes.
Yeah, because I want to make sure we get this, because it's too deep. Just get it like that, right?
We just got into the deep end of the pool, so
right.
Go ahead.
And so, and I want to touch that because he's saying from a Salafi standpoint is for kids, for the kid that came in the late 90s, early 2000s. Like we got a whole vision of thing way before that. You feel me? Like we was like crash test. A lot of our generation crash test dummies. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of the kids that witnessed a lot of things before Salafism kicked in, right? And so we witnessed we witnessed a lot of things that a lot of y'all can never understand. And one of them, like I remember back in the day, and I'm gonna tell my story. Back in the day, where I thought I was like a lot of Muslims thought I was a weirdo because I never want to be a throw wearing Negro. You know what I'm saying? I never ever in my life wanted to wear a throw. I hated Pakistani clothes, so I just got away. I don't want to. If I gotta do this to be a Muslim, I don't even want to be a Muslim no more. That ain't me. I'm a black. You know what I'm saying? I love me. Alhamdulillah, now it's cool now. Everything I was doing 10 years or 15 years ago is cool. It's the cool thing. It's the new black. Everybody black Muslim this, black Muslim that. Alhamdulillah for Dr. Ware. Alhamdulillah for the good brothers like myself and Halim. Like we established a culture of our own, right? And Dr. Ware, no, because he's been here. Like we put it together ourselves, but at the same time, remember when I was a weirdo to Muslims, to the niggas in the street, they were like, "Man, you a Muslim? That's dope." Or most Muslims, they know, they think it's a stick up their butt, you know. And so like what you were saying, like as far as the halal and haram, like it's retarded. You know what I'm saying? To me, it's crazy that we push certain things and we just completely dismiss our culture. Not our culture. Like I remember somebody, man, whatever, saying something like, "Oh, only thing like it's crazy that only time we think about culture, we think about the negativity of our culture." The negativity of our culture, like every culture have negativity.
But Jay, it come from people. Okay, number one, it comes from people who hate us inherently right now. Number two,
niggas hate their stuff too.
If you go back to shoots, if you go back in history, it comes from people who actually hated the Prophet. Who were the first to fight the Prophet. There were places that the Prophet didn't even make dua over. Okay, when asked to pray over some of these things. So when you pray for mode,
he was not
right.
When you have a default hatred in your heart about things, then things are haram before becoming halal.
Okay,
things are negative in culture and stigmatized.
And Dr. we want you to end it off with this before we go to Dr. Halim and do the good work. But we want you to close it off with this because you've been a Muslim a long time, and so you have seen you got the whole experience, and then you even got the same similar story. So
here's what I would say just to start to put this into perspective. So what did Malcolm say? Malcolm said that the problem with the Negro is that if he sees a Negro selling ice and a white man selling ice, he's gonna think that the white man's ice is colder.
Exactly.
Okay. So so start with Malcolm and then go to W.E.B. Du Bois. The problem of the Negro is double consciousness. So the two things that you're describing, Jermaine, the Negroes that hate themselves and it coming from a culture that hates us, it's the same thing. He said that the problem of double consciousness is that you're always measuring your own soul with another man's tape. That's the issue. So how could you ever measure up? How could you ever measure up? Because you're never going to be as much like him as he is. And so what they're doing is they're putting you in a position of perpetual servitude, perpetual limitation. And that is not the prophetic way. And this is the crucial part about understanding culture and the relevance of culture to this affair. I mentioned this in an Instagram post that Imam Malik, may Allah be well pleased with him, he was absent from Medina, and he left his principal student, whose name I'm forgetting at the moment, in charge. And there was a delegation that came from the Caucasus region, and the student wrote fatwas for them. Imam Malik came back and he asked him, did anything happen while I was gone? He said, yeah, it was a group that came from far away, and so I gave some opinions for them and they left. And Imam Malik asked him, he said, have you been to their land? And he said, no. He said, do you speak their language? He said, no. He said, what? He said, what do you know about their orf and their ada, their culture and their customs? And he said, I don't know anything about those things. He said, how do you think you could write legal opinions for them? So the point is that the expression that Islam is going to take is going to be different in different cultural forms. And if we are constantly in a state of cultural imitation, then we're going to constantly be behind and constantly trailing, and we're never going to be ourselves. We're going to be cultivating hatred for our own people in our own people. And now to bring it back to the messenger of God, alayhi afdal salatu wa salam, and this is the crucial part. If you read the Shifat of Qadi Iyad, he mentions, may Allah be well pleased with this incredible scholar, medieval, Andalusian scholar, but it's the best single work on the Prophet ﷺ that you can read, in any language, in my humble opinion. But he points out, he said that the Prophet ﷺ, when he received the Arabs and the Bedouins from different parts of the Arabian Peninsula, he said he spoke to them in their dialect, using the figures of speech, the turns of phrase, and the allusions, allusions, from their region and their dialects. The point is that it is not teaching sacred knowledge unless it is culturally relevant and appropriate. It's not anything except for imperialism. And that is what we have been cursed with. And we have internalized this ourselves. And so this music is about getting free ultimately. And it can't do the job, by itself, but like if we are all standing arm in arm and contributing to this kind of cultural liberation, developing this revolutionary culture, each of us, Bam made this amazing post just yesterday, like whatever gifts you got, turn them over to the service of the divine will. And that's, and if we're doing that, then we will set our people free, inwardly and outwardly.
Mashallah, Doc, we're gonna need you to give a quick good word, but I'm sad. I hate that it's only an hour, bro. This is too important, man.
Volume 2 is dropping next month.
It's always another goodbye.
I'm mad, bro, because it's so many, and it's so important, man, and it's so important because again, I'm with these kids, man. I talk to them. I know what they in, and they not. A lot of them is not capping. A lot of them are rapping in real time, like they active. You know what I'm saying? Like in real time, active. That's like, so it hurt because they want to get out of that stuff. But alhamdulillah, man, give us a good word with a good doc, and then we can let Shiz and Dr. Ware plug, but they got to plug quickly, inshallah.
Yeah, a couple minutes, inshallah. Alhamdulillah, salatu salam ala sallallahu alayhi wa sallam taslima. Praise Allah and ask him that he send infinite prayers on the Prophet. Salatu salam. I'm a hold back. I'm a hold back all emotion because I it's a minimum of 7 minutes if I get hyped up. So, look, what is being alluded to and what is being offered right now, what we have to offer, and what alhamdulillah, Dr. Ware, beware, Chizabam, what we're seeing, inshallah, is a not just another beginning, but there's a renaissance that's coming, and Islam has to revive itself again, and it always finds a way, and we pray that we're useful tools in it, because we already got the spoiler alert of what will happen. Okay, so the thing is this: right now, there's the big revolution is against is against evil. I mean, is against the good things, against being a man, being a father, being heterosexual, being just happy, and what I am seeing when Jermaine and I talk to these kids. I have, I've got teenage kids. Jermaine got teenage kids. Dr. Ware got teenage kids. I don't know about you, Ben, but what I'm saying is, um, what I'm seeing that has to be clearly put out is that our people, even though that we tell ourselves that we are happy, we're not actually happy because our happiness is is based on something failing. Your happiness is based on your girl not DMing some dude trying to put herself out in the street. Your happiness is based on some job that this white man who ain't in a certain mood is gonna tell you to step and kick some rocks. Your happiness is based on likes. Your happiness is based on people's whims. Your happiness is based on followers. Your happiness is based on how you look. Okay, everything that we base this happiness in is failing, and so is your happiness. It's failing, and most of these people don't understand or know it. And what you even think you tell yourself of you saying to yourself that you are happy isn't even happy. It's not even you. Okay? And so when you have people that can remind in different art forms, in words, and most importantly, what we were talking about with this whole thing, an embodiment. Okay? An embodiment. An embodiment. All right? Then you get then at least for this time and this period, this thing, we have something that can actually be a true revival, a true revolution against what's happening right now, because nobody's gonna revolt. You not if you're already full, if your bread is stacked, if you already got whoever you want laying next to you, and whatever laying next to you, what are you gonna revolt against? What are you gonna say no to? What are you gonna really let go of? Okay, so revolt and revolution and change comes from it's an unsettling nature. There is something that is unsettled. There's something that we have to know that isn't right. And you're just being told, I'm being told that this is the right version of Islam. This is the right version of what being black is and what being a man is and all this other stuff. So we have to put a message out that produces, that gives a higher level of happiness, a way of being happy that is not there, that hasn't been presented before. I could keep going, but I know our time, and I'm sorry, guys. So it's just one of those, got to hold it back a little bit. You know how it go when you gotta withdraw. So inshallah. I pray and thanks you guys so much for coming on and joining us.
Alhamdulillah. Ben, what'd you say on the hook? You said fulfill the prophecy before it's too late.
Before it's too late. Before it's too late.
I mean, the thing is, it was already written. We know how it's going to turn out. The victory will come. It's a permanent insurrection. And God has promised, victory. But every single life, every single soul, like, is a destiny that's written. Fulfill it, man. Fulfill it.
Y'all got anything y'all want to plug? Plug y'all. Tell them where to go to download the album. Make it set the date when y'all coming back.
bit.ly/Slum Prophecy. Cop it. That's been actually a really important thing that we didn't get to address in this particular discussion. But it's like, support our artists. Spotify is a plantation, and a lot of you. It's like literally less than 0.5 cent per stream. For the artists. And unless you want the industry dictating to your people what kind of music you listen to, then you need to actually support the artists in your own community so that it can be sustainable. So we're releasing certain tracks to Spotify as singles, but we're asking that people support the project. The beauty of it is, man, in spite of the fact that buying albums isn't even a thing, we've sold hundreds of these because the people want to support, the music. Alhamdulillah, and that's with no promotion for mainstream anything. Like what we brought in just in the first night was what it would have taken 200,000 Spotify streams to bring in. So the point is, yeah. No, the thing is that really if we can't wait for these people to do it for us. We have to promote our own cultural revolution, and that means supporting one another, supporting positive artists that are bringing that heat, but also bringing light with it. It's one thing if it's just heat, but it's got to be heat and light. So inshallah, cop that album. Yeah, I'm gonna let you close us out.
People are tired, man. People are tired of the same old, whether young or old, man, or middle, whatever age range. People out here are genuinely tired of the same old frequencies, man. Like the same old messages, the same old vice, just promotion of the same filth, man. Like honestly, and we've seen where that has led us to. I think what we're bringing on Slum Prophecy is fulfillment. You know what I'm saying? Like you want to talk about the streets? We're gonna talk about the streets with you, but we're gonna give you the solution.
Real side.
You tell your problem, we're gonna give you the solution too. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get deep into what you know what I'm saying, what really goes on. We're not gonna sugarcoat anything. And of course we're gonna bring it full scope, right? It has to be wholesome. You can't just be one without the other. It's the way of the middle path, right? So everything has to be a balance. There has to be yin and yang. And the reviews on the album have been spectacular, truly have, and just real. Yeah, so go out and cop that Slum Prophecy.
When we released just that 30-second clip of Slum Prophecy that we literally video recorded the video portions with our phone, it got 164,000 views in a 24-hour period.
That's because you the superstar Shake, bro. You the pretty boy Shake of the moment, Shake. Pretty boy Shake of the fat. Pretty boy shaking the fat.
No, quietly, Jermaine, I always feel like there's some kind of anti-light skin thing going on.
Don't worry, I know. It's true. It's true. Don't worry about it. Rock with it.
No, Shake, Dr. Ware, man, you already know I love you to death, bro. You're a big brother of mine. For real, I love you. Like I look up to you. I look for your guidance. You know what I'm saying? And you literally my big brother. You know what I'm saying? So
you've been like a brother to me since we first started building. You know what I'm saying? So God wrote it that way. That's just how it is.
So y'all need to set a date when y'all coming back to finish this discussion.
Inshallah, no problem.
And I'm gonna keep my youngest, man. I'm gonna try to keep them and grab them and want them to listen to just to play, because with some artists is real time, so they're gonna talk about what they're going through, but they need to understand that it's the means of it is the way out. It's not to stay there. And so we need to finish that. You know what I'm saying? And Shiz, man, I'm happy to get to know you. I know Dr. Halim is, man. And you're a positive young brother that's in the atmosphere, and you in the moment. You know what I'm saying? So the kids they gravitate to realism. And what's needed now is love and smiles and reality for our people, instead of that foolishness and anti-us, each other. So may Allah preserve y'all, man.
Amen.
Give it the Fatiha, Dr. Halim. We close on up.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين.
Alhamdulillah, man. Thank y'all, man. Inshallah, people, please share it, man, and I'm in Facebook jail. So
Oh, no, that's why we got hit up a little bit. Locked them up real quick.
That's like, man.
I'm in Facebook jail. I got my so share. Get it out to the people, man. Share the links, man. Support us. If you got it again, you want to be a sponsor, email us and inbox us and get on, man. We blowing up, and we the first ones to put on Slum Prophecy like that. And next thing you know, I am their manager, so I need my money. So inshallah, you know what I'm saying? I'll let your boy. So all right,
we'll see. We'll come back next month after Volume 2 drops.
Yeah, give us a day. Give us a holler at Malik, and we get that day. And we coming back bigger than ever, man. We got it ready.
We'll get it. All right.
Sounds good. It's been a pleasure, brothers. Appreciate y'all having me.
All right.
Much love.